Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Keelan Burke. Great to see so many familiar faces there logging on this afternoon with us. It's great to have you. So today's webinar is all about export and shipping internationally and what you need to know. We have an absolute expert in his field on with us today from DHL, Alan Butler, who I will introduce to you in a couple of moments. Before I do, I just want to do a quick poll with everyone just to see what they are doing currently when they are shipping to the UK. So it's just going to pop up on your screen there. And I would like you to just hit the button to say, what are you currently doing? Are you shipping to the UK? Does the customer pay? Are you fully set up and the retailer is paying? Or no, you're not currently shipping to the UK because of all the regulations. So appreciate if you could just hit your answers there. Just give it another second or two. Okay, that's super. It looks like the majority, almost 50%, are not currently shipping to the UK, which is very interesting. So definitely going to be worthwhile for a lot of you here today. So to introduce Alan Butler, he's the Customs Aviation Dublin Hub Sort Manager. He has over 37 years experience with DHL, which is phenomenal. He joined them back in 1987 and he started off in customs clearance before moving into management. He's moved around the business and across multiple different roles and areas, and he's currently looking after customs and aviation in the Dublin hubs. So to welcome Alan on board there now, and we'll get him to introduce himself as well. Now, Alan, let's just take you off mute. Perfect.
Lovely. Thanks very much, Keelan.
No problem, Alan. Great to have you. So I'll hand over to you.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining and giving me this opportunity to show you what we as DHL can potentially do for you as a customer. Yeah, as Keelan said, I've 37 years in DHL, so quite a long time. Going back to 1987, where I was involved with customs clearance. And while I did move away into different roles, I seem to have come full circle right back into it again. And I suppose Brexit has had a major part to play in that. So yeah, so it's been an interesting journey. So what I'd like to do is to run you through the DHL network, and then we'll have a look at the exporting with DHL, followed by maybe just having a look at how about generating a commercial invoice if that's something you're not used to doing, and then just take any questions anybody might have. I should also say that my colleague Muriel Casserly, who's Sales Business Development Manager for DHL, will also be online in the event there's any questions from a sales point of view that wouldn't be my field. So, okay, so I'll move forward with our DHL network. So we have 3 main facilities in Ireland. Here in St. Margaret's in Dublin, just at the back of the Dublin airport. Airfield is where we are situated. We also have a major facility in Shannon and also in Cork. We then have another 7 service centres around the country. Starting there, as you'll see, Letterkenny. We're also in Mullingar, just outside Galway in Milltown. We have another service centre in Newbridge, Waterford, Enniscorthy, and we have a small service centre in Pearse Street in Dublin. So that's our operating network for around the country. So we're servicing everywhere, Air Express next day into Ireland. We have 5 inbound flights per day into the country, 3 into Dublin and 2 into Shannon. So as you can see here on the left, we have a flight coming in from Brussels, Leipzig and East Midlands Airport in the UK. All arriving into Dublin by 6 a.m. every morning, and then we've a flight in from Leipzig and EMA into Shannon. On the reverse, then on the outbound, we have 2 flights daily to East Midlands Airport each evening out of Dublin, and 1 to Leipzig, and then 2 further flights from Shannon going to East Midlands and Leipzig also. So a pretty extensive air network that we're operating on a daily basis, and this is a 7-day operation. So while all those flights don't operate at the weekend, quite a number of them actually do. We also then have an extensive road network into the EU. So we have trucks on a daily basis in from Brussels, from East Midlands, from Eindhoven, from Dusseldorf, Bergamo in Italy, and also from Belfast. And on the outbound, then we have trucks going out on a daily basis to Eindhoven, Brussels, East Midlands, and Belfast. So quite a busy network of flights and road movements operating on a daily basis. Okay, so in relation to exporting, and again, some of this is certainly very much based on people just maybe starting off. So apologies to anyone who is exporting quite a bit, as I'm just trying to keep this as basic as possible. So, if you are starting off in your business, and obviously these are just some key points in relation to things that you must need to know, or little steps before you do export. Obviously researching your market, any legal or financial, cultural differences that might be out there, to identify the best sales channel for you, and that's something that we can really help you with, and our sales team can really, look at what you're actually doing and what is the best channel for you. Of course, is it financially worthwhile, and then to identify, how you get paid when you export, and being prepared to adapt to this new market. And something that a lot of people may not be aware of is, have you applied for your EORI number? So that's your economic operator registration and identification number that you must register with revenue for, and that allows you to transport the goods across EU borders. So it's important you have it. Once you have registered, generally it's the same as your VAT number. So that's just something important to remember. So in relation to exporting, everything that's traveling within the EU, as we all know, has been traveling freely since the mid-90s, in relation to the EU marketplace and fair trade. So we've all been very used to that. And of course, but we had 2 exceptions during all of that period, which was Norway and Switzerland. So they're still unfortunately not part of the single market. So any shipments going out there or coming in are liable to VAT and duty. And then of course the big one, the UK, obviously with the introduction of Brexit, has now fallen into that as well. And so that has been enormous for everyone, and enormous for us in DHL. Where our customs department has grown significantly. We would have had a customs department of about 20 people pre-Brexit, and we're now well in excess of 120 people in the customs clearance department due to this, which is a reflection of the volumes that we get obviously from our nearest neighbour on inbound and outbound volumes. So as it stands now, due to that, and obviously for the rest of the EU or outside of the EU, every shipment traveling to any country outside the EU obviously is liable to VAT and duty. So this has to be paid by the shipper or the receiver, and this option must be specified in your Incoterms when you're creating the shipment. I've detailed there just the DTU, duty and taxes unpaid. So in most cases, if you're exporting out, you're sending your shipments DTU, and it's been paid on the far side. If you don't select any Incoterms, it will be just that the receiver will pay the taxes and duties on the far side. If alternatively you select DDP, which is delivered duty paid, then those taxes can be billed back to you. So you can make the decision that you're going to take the payment on that, and it can be billed back. So from a DHL point of view, if you select Incoterm DDP, your account will get, so DHL on the far side, wherever you're shipping to, will automatically, the finance people on the far side, once it's been selected DDP, they will bill it back to your account in Ireland. So that obviously you take the fee on that. So, but again, all of this is down to you select what you select on as your Incoterm when you're shipping. So we are, we're a recognized broker, and we have, as I say here, we have the ability via our local customs teams to support customers in everything that you're doing in relation to your exports. And we want to make this as simple as possible for you, and give you all the support that you need. We have our DHL application is called My DHL Plus, and everything once you start to input into that, it will generate everything for you. Paperwork will automatically be uploaded to our system, so therefore you don't, once you key in the details, it'll automatically generate the commercial invoice for you. And from that, then our export team will clear the shipment for you outbound. We will obviously, we can then send you on a copy of the export declaration if required, or on a monthly basis, we can generate reporting for you, which will show you all the shipments you've exported. And again, a copy of your declaration, all your declarations. We'll also store this material for up to 7 years, as revenue will potentially have the option to audit you, and then they can go back as far as 7 years. So we will hold all your data for that length of time. In relation to the commercial invoice, I mean, there is a high level of detail required, and of course the HS code is a large part of that. So this is a commercial invoice on the screen. So when you use My DHL Plus, it will automatically generate this for you. So as you key in the information, then this invoice commercial invoice will become complete and will automatically transfer into our system. So as you can see there, it's fairly clear in the information I was looking for, the sender, and you see all the detail down along. And again, you will input that, and therefore it will generate into this commercial invoice. There is obviously receiver information, and if it's a thing that you decide that if it's a decision is that the importer of record is somebody else, then you input that as well. If it's to be billed to a third party, that goes in also. Then the next, I suppose, important aspect too is a full description of goods. So you can see here you have line item numbers that need to go in. So if you have multiple items, you need to detail each of those. We have in the application, we have a system called My GTS. So My GTS, once you put in the description of the goods, whether it's a football or a shirt or whatever it might be, a piece of clothing, the My GTS will generate the commodity code or the HS code for you. So you don't have to go anywhere else looking for that. The system will give you the HS code, which is obviously required for taxes and duties to be calculated. Again, you have the country of origin, which is important, and then quantity, unit value, and then your subtotal. But as I said, the big one there is the HS code, because that will drive the duties and taxes that are going to be paid. So you have to get that correct. But again, the system, as I say, will do that for you. So does the commercial invoice is vitally important, but if you're using the My DHL Plus system, then as I say, it will generate everything for you, and also it will give you the option then for the Incoterm, as I discussed earlier. So whether you want it to be to arrive duty paid or duty unpaid, you make that call on it. Okay, so that's it. So maybe it was very quickly went through that, but if there's any questions, then I'm willing to take them from anybody.
That was great. That was great, Alan. Fair play. So maybe just to emphasize, so if any retailer signs up with DHL and they use the DHL My DHL Plus app, they'll be able to facilitate duties paid, and that gets then billed back to their DHL account. If they're shipping into the UK, the
Yes.
UK VAT will all come back. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's very handy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If you once you have the account set up with us, then all of those charges can be billed back to you if that's what you require. Yeah.
And the alternative, Alan, is the retailer would have.
So it's duty unpaid, yeah. So
Yeah.
the receiver then picks up all the charges. Yeah.
Yeah. or alternatively, they have to go off and register with the HMRC in the UK for VAT and then be able to do all that. But that would seems quite cumbersome and time
Yeah,
consuming.
that's obviously up to the receiver on
Yeah.
the far side. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's much clearer. There was a couple of questions there in then, Alan. The first one, which is a good question, just about returns. What happens then if a customer wants to return a jumper? Can that be facilitated through DHL then again?
Yeah, well, again, I suppose the return can be done, but it would be how you set up your account, your sales account, so you obviously if you do set up an account with DHL, you will be involved in one of the sales channels, and it's at that point then you would say, right, we want to look at a return process,
Yeah.
and then that will be discussed as to what
Okay.
would be required there. Yeah.
So yeah, but my thinking would be DHL could come along and then pick up that parcel from the customer in London and organize it to be brought back as well.
Yeah, I mean,
So
if you have a return process in place, then like I suppose you would have the information within the package going out for in order to return, or it will be a case of logging online and printing it out yourself. Yeah,
right.
but
Okay.
again, it was something you definitely would have to have that set up within the sales channel that you want to be able to do returns. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. The second question, Alan, is, and maybe it's one from Muriel, might be able to pipe in the chat, but is there a minimum number of orders to be able to use the My DHL Plus?
Not that I'm aware of. No,
No, yeah, that's what I was
should-
thinking.
no.
Yeah, be open to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Just one for me then, Alan, in terms of your experience, what's the timeline like in terms of clearance and going through customs, and what is it? I'm sure it was very slow at the very start, but has it improved or?
Yeah, no, it definitely has improved. And I suppose if I talk first about the inbound
Yes.
scenario here, so material coming from the UK in here, we in most cases you have clearance within an hour of the flight arrival.
Wow.
So we would be working in advance anyway. We would have pre-authorization or pre-notification of items arriving. So we would have a lot of the work done, and then we would be waiting for notification of the departure of the aircraft. So once it's called wheels up, so once you get the departure notification of the aircraft, then you can actually lodge all of your entries with customs or with revenue. Now we between our inbound flights, all of our inbound flights in the morning, we're probably clearing close to nearly 5,000 shipments per day.
Wow.
So so there's a huge volume going through at that hour of the morning between those flights arriving from 4 a.m. up to 6:30, and yeah, so so the response is pretty instant from revenue.
Great.
Obviously there are shipments which will get held and have to be stopped for different reasons, because it might be down to proof of purchase or different things. Or we would have shipments that would obviously, we might have brokers clearing, so they would be held as well and handed off to brokers to clear. But once we're actually clearing the shipment for the customer, it's pretty much in and delivered on the day. So no delays as such, unless there's something wrong with paperwork or whatever. There'll always potential issues, I suppose.
Yeah, no, super. Another question there, Alan, is just around the US. Maybe you might maybe just enlighten people just in terms of if people are looking to ship to the US, what's the story with VAT or duties or restrictions or?
Yeah, it's not really any different to anywhere else. Anything outside the EU. I mean, once you have your commercial invoice correct and the detail and the information correct on it, there is nothing any different. Obviously, the transit time can
a bit longer.
Obviously, it'll be a little bit longer. But in general, you're talking certainly to the east coast of the US. You're there within 2 days, and there should really be no delay on clearance as such.
And in terms of VAT or duties, there's Aaron is saying that they were told that under 800 USD, there is no VAT or duties charged. Don't know if that's right.
in the US.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it could be the case. Each country is different in that regard. So, you'd have to. I could certainly check into it. But yeah, and it would be nice to know. Whatever country you're shipping to, what is the charge in each country? But it's very difficult because they're all different. And
yeah, Muriel is helping there as well. She's saying that that is correct. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, there was another one or two small questions there, Alan. Alcohol to the US, is that a prohibited item possibly?
It depends on the quantity of it.
Okay.
So it's down to its limited quantities. It is difficult and obviously excisable and all that. So, but in DHL, we're currently have a few projects ongoing, trying to work with certain countries in relation to clearing alcohol quicker than what's currently happening. But it's all down to excise and then who that gets charged to, or does the shipper want to pay for it, or is the receiver paying for it? So it is complicated. There is no two ways about that. Yeah, alcohol is complicated. Right. So it really comes down to the volume you're shipping of it.
Yes. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. There was another question there, Alan. Is there anywhere DHL are not shipping to?
The only real restriction at the moment is Russia.
Russia, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah. So other than that, shipping's everywhere.
Okay. See if there's anything else, folks. Alcohol, Alan, just a question there around hampers with alcohol going to the UK. Is that an issue, or?
You would have to declare them, and again, it would depend on the volume of alcohol within the hamper.
Right. Okay.
So there are different restrictions on, but again, due to volume.
Yeah.
It's just one bottle in the hamper. It generally, will clear because it will be clearing probably under a gift situation. But if you're into numerous bottles, then or cases, it might be a different situation.
Okay. That's fair enough. Okay, Alan, I think you've answered a lot of them there, and I definitely think it's a lot clearer now. Definitely I am anyway. Historically would have thought you needed to register with HMRC and get all set up over there, but actually you can just register with DHL and settle the VAT and any duties through DHL, and you could probably get up and running fairly quickly, I'd say, Alan.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. But again, just all down to the Incoterm that you use. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Great. So Muriel is there as well, so I might connect with her afterwards as well. If any member wants to find out more, we can loop them in. There you go, Alan. There's the details. Great.
Yeah.
So we can loop members in and get them set up and shipping duties paid to the UK and internationally, which would be great. Great to see. And thanks, Alan, for all your time. Appreciate it, and expertise.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And we'll leave it there, folks, I think. And if anyone has any further questions, just drop me an email, drop Alan an email, and we'll go from there. So that's super.
Great. Lovely. Thanks
Thanks,
very much.
Alan.
Thanks,
Take it easy.
Yeah.
We'll finish there.